So I joined a tea club.
I'm sorry, what?
I joined a tea club.
What? What is that? What's a tea club?
My husband and I, Chris, who's never listened to this podcast or any other podcast that we've ever done and never will, we went on a romantic weekend trip without the children.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not very, we only went like a couple hours away. We basically hung out in a cabin away from my kids. It was so relaxing. It was like, did I tell you this? Like, it was nice, but then it was like almost worse to go and relax somewhere because then you come back home and you're like, oh, I still have children. So,
Aww.
I mean, I love them, but it's like now you're just like, well, all that relaxing has been, I'm unrelaxed now. But so we went into Dahlonega. Have you been to Dahlonega?
Oh my God, Sam!
Didn't you just
went there.
go?
We just went. Yeah,
that's right.
We got our art from there.
That's right. You guys went and got some art. Anyway, there's a lovely tea and witchy shop on the little square.
Oh, we missed it.
Called Gypsy Teas, I think.
Okay.
So I'm drinking one of their teas right now. I think it's called Don't Tell Grandma or something.
Ooh,
and it's supposed to taste like a freshly baked cookie, which kind of does.
Don't tell Grandma.
Don't tell Grandma. And then they hooked me at the counter. They're like, hey, we do this tea club for like $14 a month or something. They send you tea and like a card that like tells you some things, some spiritual things to work on.
So it's not like a club where you go and do like a talkie.
Oh no, we don't sit around. Although I don't have time for that really right now, but it's definitely something I'd be open to.
I'm just about like when you said that you joined a tea club, I was imagining you like in a room in a circle full of other tea aficionados, like talking about how much you love tea.
That actually sounds really nice, and I would definitely join something like that. But no, they send me teas, and I'm supposed to try new teas every month.
Nice. Well, you would love to do that. So.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to be overflowing with tea now.
I thought you already were.
I am. I have a whole cabinet just full of tea. So, but I gotta say, Don't Tell Grandma is delicious.
It does kind of look like milk you'd have and you'd put some Oreos in it. Like you dunk some Oreos in milk.
Cream. This isn't what the tea naturally looks like. It does look a bit like I'm drinking a cup of Bailey's Irish Cream right now. No, I just put a little non-dairy creamer in it.
Well, what I mean is it's like brown. Like it looks like
it is, yeah.
It has okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like tastes like chocolatey. It's very good.
Yeah,
like it's
nice.
How are you?
Oh, I just want to know more about your teas. Yes, I'm good.
Oh, you want to know more? I could continue to talk. I bought big giant bags of tea while I was there.
Yeah.
I could tell you about all of them.
Chris an enabler, or is he more of a big begrudging, like, I guess this is one of Nicole's things, like...
Well, he didn't try to stop me from buying all the teas. I think he wanted to go outside, but it was raining, so he just kind of had to stand limply in the corner while I smelled all the teas. Because, they have the little canisters and you can, I didn't put my face too close to it because, we don't want to be spreading germs around in this time that we live in. Although I am vaccinated, of course, and I was wearing a mask. Not a lot of people wearing masks these days, but I'm still wearing the mask when I go into a public place, like inside.
Yeah, me too, except if I have to eat.
Yeah, right. So I'm just like not ready to take the mask off. Most partially because like I got kids and I don't know what happens if I get exposed to COVID and then, bring that home. I don't know. I just don't want, I don't want the children to get it because they're too young to be vaccinated. So I've been staying pretty careful, as much careful as I can, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, any store I go into, I wear a mask. Any like, even if I'm like outside around a bunch of people, I wear a mask.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair. So today by the way, welcome to the Adam and Andy
Oh,
podcast.
welcome, of course.
Welcome.
Yes.
I'm one of your
Glad
hosts,
you're here.
Nicole.
I'm your other host, Sarah.
And while this may seem like it is a podcast about tea, I've tried. Sarah won't have it.
I reject it.
This is actually a podcast where we enjoy, we take in, we digest,
We thirst for.
we don't. Do we thirst for the films? Anyway, we watch Adam Driver and Andy Samberg movies, TV, etc., and we look respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do.
We dissect carefully and respectfully.
We just dissect carefully and respectfully every single frame.
Sounds kind of creepy, actually.
Yeah, it makes us sound a little bit like serial killers. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking. We're back to our Brooklyn Nine-Nine rewatch, which I suppose I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm hoping we'll get through season 1 before we hop over to season 8, which will be coming out in August. So not too far away. I guess we have like, we might only have like one more week of.
We won't be able to
season
get there.
1. That's okay. Maybe 2 more weeks because I think it comes out the 12th. Anyway, we'll figure it out. But that's okay. We're doing a rewatch of Brooklyn Nine-Nine season 1, and then when the new season comes out, we'll take a pause and then we'll watch that. Or maybe, I don't know. We can talk about this, I guess, next episode when we're picking the movie for the next week. But we could also take a little Brooklyn Nine-Nine break in between season 1 and our rewatch and do like a little on Lonely Island or something like that. We'll see. The sky's the limit. Anyway, we'll be talking about Brooklyn Nine-Nine episodes 9, 10, 11, and 12 today.
Thank goodness I watched those.
For a second there, I was worried.
Yeah. Actually, I rewatched the last 4 episodes. Just kidding.
You were like, we're only talking about these 4 for the next year. Every second of it. That would be excruciating. I mean, I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but you know.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, would you like to get into some Adam and Andy news?
Yes.
Okay. So, couple things. And I think I have, let me just pull up. I think it might help if I have my Twitters handy, where some of this information exists. So I'm going to start with Andy this week. So first of all, Andy is going to be voicing a character in a video game. The game is called Borderlands. So I've never played it. So this just came out. This information just came out recently. The game is Borderlands, but it's actually a spin-off game called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
I'm sorry. I hear the name Borderlands and I picture a bunch of like people with guns on giant.
Yeah, it seems a bit like Mad Max Fury Road.
Mad Max Fury Road, exactly. Yeah. And then I hear Tiny Tina's. And
then it's like more of a Thumbelina kind of situation.
What? Okay.
You know, I've not played this game, so maybe the listeners tweeted us at Adam Any Pod if you've played Tiny Tina, because this is the second Tiny Tina. This is Tiny Tina 2. So if you played Tiny Tina, I don't know, tell us a little bit about it. I don't know much about it. I was just reading about this particular development in Andy's career. So he's going to be playing a character called Captain Valentine.
Oh my goodness.
And that will be released sometime in early 2022.
Wow, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I want to hear his Captain Valentine.
I mean, that sounds adorable, doesn't it?
Adorable.
So tweet us, tell us a little bit about Tiny Tina if you've played that game. I'm not big into video games, I'll be honest. I only play games that are Star Wars related.
It's true.
I did play a lot of VR games while I was in quarantine, because I was trying to escape reality, to be honest. And so I played a lot of games, but it was mostly Star Wars. Other bit of info, other bit of news for Andy. So Hotel Transylvania, new trailer came out recently. Hotel Transylvania Transformania is the name of the sequel.
Is it 4?
Huh?
Is it the 4th film?
Transformania. You know what? I think it might be. I've only seen like the first two. My kids actually really like Hotel Transylvania. Um, yeah, so it's coming out October. It says October 1st, 2021.
Okay.
Hotel Transylvania Transformania. So that's all the Andy news I got at the moment. Brooklyn
Yeah.
Nine-Nine
Yeah.
will be premiering soon, but has not yet.
Cool.
All right, so moving on to Adam. Fuck. There's so much to talk about, Sarah. I don't even know where to start. Annette premiered at the Cannes Film Festival.
I heard it went well.
Yeah, it went apparently. I mean, there was a 5-minute standing ovation at the end of the movie.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Unclear whether Adam stayed to watch it. He usually doesn't, but it
I
seemed.
doubt it.
Yeah, but he was like there at the beginning. I don't know if he had slipped back in at the end. I don't know if they strapped him to a chair and forced him to watch himself. He looked. I'll be honest. In some of the photos, he looked a little stressed. He seemed a little stressed at times.
Yeah.
Also, at the very end of the movie, the director lit up a cigarette inside the theater and then handed him a cigarette, and they both just smoked in the theater.
Adam smoked?
He smokes. You didn't know that?
Smokes?
Well,
What?
he did, and then he quit, and now he's been spotted smoking again a lot. So yeah, he's
Adam.
definitely smoking. He actually blew smoke into the camera, that was pointed at his face. It was a real bad boy move. The Twitter went fucking insane. Everyone's panties just melted immediately. I'm serious.
Too late to smoke. It's too late.
It's too late in the day or in life?
It's too late in the world. We know better.
Okay.
We know better not to smoke.
I know. Smoke. You know what, Sarah? I agree. Smoking is bad for you. I don't know why he looks so good doing it. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to be with someone who smokes. I used to smoke. I don't think you knew me when I smoked, but I smoked for a long time.
Yeah.
Both my husband and I used to smoke. I smoked for like 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no desire to go back. But
I would still love you if you smoked, but I would be very sad.
Sarah.
I would. Of course I would.
I would never be able to smoke because you would look at me with those sad eyes, like just knowing that my death was going to come sooner.
No. Oh my gosh.
Yet he looks so hot doing it. I can't even tell you. Like, I don't like smoking, but he looks hot doing it. I hope he quits. But in the meantime, we have that to look at. So let me just go to some visual aids. Let me pull them up because I realized that I didn't do that. So let me just let's go to some visual aids. There was a lot of photos. There was a lot of photos. These were supposed to be in order. Okay, there we are. There were a lot of photos taken. We literally could have spent hours looking at it. When I tell you, Twitter this week was insane. Okay. Everyone was going fucking bananas. At one point, people were just tweeting like, I need a break. They were just like, I can't handle this. It's too much. People were just like inundated. They were like overwhelmed with all the Adam content on Twitter this week. It was glorious. And it was just fun. It was fun because I think the people that are fans of this actor are obviously very thirsty, but also have a really good sense of humor. And so it was just kind of really fun to get caught up in that energy. It was kind of that same feeling of like remember when during the House of Gucci and like all the pictures were coming out and people are like sharing pictures all day long. And, it was that same energy where it's just like, isn't this fun? And it was just like it was kind of fun to get caught up in it and also really hard to tear myself away and get like actual real life work done. Because I just was like refreshing Twitter all day long. So let's go to some visual aids. I just pulled a couple of photos here. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. Can you see? Can you see okay?
Adam. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll describe. So those of you guys that are watching the vidcast on Critical Crop Tops YouTube channel, you'll see what we're seeing. But I'll just describe it for the listeners. So we were looking at this was one of Adam's looks for the day. He had sort of this like dark blue shirt, black jacket, and this is him just like at the press call. This is one of his smiling photos. Other photos, he looked very stressed,
happy.
Yeah.
Like he's putting on like a, hey, I'm smiling, right?
I saw this video clip where this photo, around the time this photo was taken, I'm pretty sure it seemed like he saw somebody he recognized that he was actually waving at.
Okay.
So I think it was genuine.
That makes sense.
I mean, a lot of it was like he was standing there like, fuck, when is this going to be over? Like you could see he had like a serious case of like, please get me out of here. Like, remember on Saturday Night, have you ever watched that Saturday Night Live monologue where he talks about how in press photos he looks like he's a kidnap victim?
No, I missed that one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure we'll get to it when we look at his SNL appearances. But anyway, there were a lot of kidnap victim photos, but he's doing his best. I mean, this is all part of the circus of celebrity. It's like you go to do a film and you're happy about the film and you're proud of the film, but then it's very weird. I'll be honest, watching the photo call, I was like, shit, if that were me, I'd be overwhelmed too. Like everyone's taking it in stride really well, but it's like they parade them out like, I don't know. They parade them out like weird objects. The actors and the director. They stand in front of this podium. There's reporters on behind and in front of you, and you have to turn around. And it's like
Do they take pictures of your butt?
I mean, probably, but I think they're trying to get the face. Is the point? Yeah. Like, I mean, the butt is only worth so much on the cover of a magazine, I suppose. Yeah. Anyway, they're like facing front and they're smiling and there's like 1,000 cameras going off and everybody's shouting your name. And then you have to turn around and go to the other side. It was very weird. I feel like it would be a sensory overload. But here he is taking it in stride. Next photo is one of the new stills from the movie. So this is just like a still from the film.
Oh my god!
The hair. Can we talk about the hair?
Can we talk about hair? Did he grow out his hair?
Maybe.
I don't think so.
What I will say is that his hair looks dry. I want to put some conditioner in it.
I know.
But I think that's what they were. I think that was. I think that's obviously the look. But I mean, I just am concerned. Obviously he's okay because his hair looks fine now. But I was like, Jesus Christ. My hair gets like that if I'm out in the sun too long. He kind of
reminds me of Gaston. For some reason, that like.
He's got a bit of a chiseled. Oh my God, Sarah! You know what I need to do here? I forgot to download this, but I'm gonna real quick. I need to find the quote. So the filmmaker who made Annette had this really interesting quote about him and about his look. But yeah, so you're saying you think he has a bit of a Gaston look, is what you're saying? So audience, this is if you're
because of the hair and the face, and
right? If you're listening to us
and
in the audio only version, we're looking at a still of Henry McHenry in his motorcycle jacket with his flowing locks. Where is this quote? I don't want to butcher it, but I do know most of it, so I could say it, but basically he said that, I'll just paraphrase, so sorry listeners if I fuck this up, but basically the director of Annette said he saw Adam on Girls, so he actually talked to him 7 years ago about doing a movie together. What the director said about him was that he said he was like, wow, this man is beautiful, he's like masculine and feminine at the same time, he's feline, he called him feline. And he said that he was made for my camera. That's what he said.
Oh my God.
But I look at this picture and I'm like, I can see.
He was made for my camera. That's such a French thing to say.
It's very French, yeah. But, like, I'm looking at this picture, I'm like, yes, like I can totally see all those things at play here.
Yeah.
Here's a photo, just like a behind the scenes photo of them on set.
The hair again. I think that is his hair.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's fair. I like the curl. I like the curls. I like the curls.
Yeah, that reminds me of my hair actually.
Yeah, I feel like my hair, like I need to put a little oil in my hair to keep it from getting frizzy like that. But here's a photo of all of everyone at the photo call. So the Sparks brothers, Simon, Marion Cotillard. I'm not sure who's. I guess those other guys are producers, and then of course the director.
I
And I haven't
love
said his
Marion
name because I don't
Cotillard.
want to
I'm
butcher
sure
his name.
she's not technically wearing bike shorts, but they look like bike shorts, and I love it.
She looks amazing.
I love the
It's
hair,
not
the
Leo,
side
it's
swoop.
Like Leos is the director's
Look
name.
at her
Leos
side
Crax.
swoop.
I know, she looks so adorable. She looks like, and her shoes are
Yes.
amazing. These black, she's got this
Yes.
black and white, like sort of skater look to her. This was
Yeah.
Adam on the red carpet, so he's wearing his bow
he
tie
looks
and
happy.
yeah, he looks adorable. And then the last piece of news. Well, actually, there's one more thing I want to slightly address before we move on. But the last thing I wanted to say, the last sort of news item, I guess I was going to cover was that the day after the premiere, it was announced that the Burberry campaign that he shot ages ago is going to be coming out, I think, in August.
When you say ages ago, do you mean years ago? Or
no, it was like
ago?
last year. Like people have been talking
Okay.
about it on Twitter. Like, when is this campaign going to come out? So he, like, Burberry, basically, it's the Burberry fragrance,
Mhm.
and they basically released this press release on like the day of or the day after the premiere, saying like Adam is the new face of Burberry, and so
Did he agree to that?
yeah, I mean,
Did he agree to be the new face of Burberry?
Yeah, he's in the commercial. They shot a commercial, Sarah.
Oh my God.
He was riding a horse with no shirt on. There's pictures.
Why would he do that?
Because
why would he sell out for that?
Our money? I don't know.
But it's
because if you make
not acting.
Well, okay, so you don't like that he's done a commercial, is what you're saying?
Well, I always thought of him as being like
he does all those watches commercials.
Art.
He does all those watches. Yes,
I didn't know he did commercials.
Well, like stuff like high end stuff like watches, and I mean not like Cheerios. Although respect, if he's gonna do a commercial for like Oscar Mayer wieners or something, I'll get behind that. But yeah, it's usually for high end stuff like watches.
Cheerios more.
Can you imagine like Adam Driver acting the shit out of a Cheerios commercial?
I would like that. So
you'd rather see him do a Cheerios commercial?
Yes. I don't know.
What about Adam doing a Subway commercial, like wearing a hairnet?
Sure.
Yes. Anyway, this is actually a photo that was posted to the Burberry Instagram. This was sort of like their announcement. This was the photo that they used. Okay. So yeah, he's
very dapper.
Yes. And those are all my visual aids for this week.
His skin looks good in black and white.
It does. It definitely does. I will post these in the on Twitter. I'll post them in the replies of the episode for this week. So if you are listening to us and you want to see what photos I'm talking about, you can find them on Twitter at AdamAndyPod. That's where you can find us. Anyway, that's all the news. Well, not really. There's one last thing. I feel like we can't move on without talking about it. And you know what it is, right?
Yes, the cunnilingus while singing. Yes.
And this has been confirmed by many people on Twitter who actually did see the movie. So apparently, Sarah, that's what I told you guys that, but apparently there's lots of it happens more than once, first of all. So supposedly, so they're singing all live.
Yeah.
Just like they did with A Star Is Born. They're recording the music live on set.
Okay.
Apparently there's a scene where he's going down on her and singing at the same time. Sarah, you are a trained actor and singer, right?
Yes.
What do you think might be of concern as a singer if you are singing and going down on someone at the same time? What would be a technical concern as a singer?
Maybe fluids? I don't know. Also, you're not in the right position to sing.
Okay, so you'd be concerned about the diaphragm
or standing. If you're like hunched over, like
so you're concerned about the diaphragm.
The diaphrhragm, yes.
The diaphragm placement. So,
yes.
Do you have any
Fluids,
advice?
Diaphragm.
Okay.
Yep. Those are the big
fluids
two.
And diaphragm. Yeah, I mean you got to watch out for those fluids. Although it is good to keep the throat moist. Do you have any advice for someone how to get
I would
past those pitfalls
say,
as a trained singer.
do it in a position where, there's got to be a position where you're not hunched over.
So maybe like straighten, stick your chest out a little bit while you do
Or
it,
maybe
right?
she stands and you just kneel
And just like,
and sing.
like as if it's one of those great big, like if it's like one of those big horns you use to call, call the buffalo, like one of those big.
Exactly.
It's like one of those cornucopia horns, and you just kind of, put your mouth right up on it, and
Well,
might even
yes.
magnify the sound.
Have you ever gotten raspberries down there?
On my lady parts?
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that I have, but I'm curious.
I would suggest it.
Okay. All right.
Vibrations.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought of a raspberry as a silly thing, but
It's silly. You laugh, but it's also like, ooh.
But you can have both.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Well, I think that's all we'll say about that, because we're going to reserve judgment until we actually see the movie, right? But thing sounds fucking wild.
Yeah.
I will say, and I know we're taking up a lot of time. I will, of course, put in the show notes where you can skip ahead to actually listen to us talk about Brooklyn Nine-Nine if you want to skip all this. But I did listen to the whole soundtrack.
Okay.
It's not out in the US yet, but someone on Twitter posted. So in Europe, you can listen to it on Spotify and YouTube. Okay. And I'm still waiting for my record. My record has not come in yet.
Oh.
But I did listen to it. This thing is going to be wild. Wild.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I saw it in the Heights in theaters.
You did? You went to the movies, Sarah?
Yes, I did.
What was that like?
It was so great. So we were like the only people in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. Like, it was a really well-made film.
Oh, good.
I
guess,
did
anyone sing into anyone's pussy?
No. It was like the female characters were so well developed, and they were even more developed than the male characters, which was like kind of bizarre for me. I was like, how is this happening right now? And they developed like older women's characters as well, and like,
great.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a boatload of news. It was a boatload. Would you like to talk about Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Shall we? So we are now at episode 9. So you want to just shall we just kind of go through, talk a little bit about each episode, I guess?
Sounds good. This one's called Sal's Pizza.
Yes. I don't know about you, but I immediately thought about Sal's Pizza from Do the Right Thing.
I don't think I've seen Do the Right Thing.
Didn't we watch it when Ava was streaming those movies during quarantine? We watched Do the Right Thing one of those nights, and I swear to God, I thought you watched it.
I was there for the first maybe like 15. Wait, no.
I thought you watched it with us.
Yes. I watched it.
Because Sal's Pizza gets destroyed at the end. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if this was intentional, but I immediately thought of Sal's Pizza and Sal's Pizza in Brooklyn. Like, this episode, Sal's Pizza is in Brooklyn, and Sal's Pizza in Do the Right Thing is also in Brooklyn. So anyway, I just immediately I was like, what? I mean, I know there's probably a million Sal's Pizzas, but like that, like Sal's is such an iconic name of a pizzeria to me. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anything you want to start in with about this episode?
I enjoyed the search histories cold open where like Jake lists all everyone's search histories.
Yes. That was amazing.
Very fun.
Great joke. Funny. My favorite search histories were undisclosed muscle, because Terry was he's like, I found a new muscle on my body and I wanted to know if somebody and desk yogurt. When Boyles is like, I made desk yogurt, and he's like, oh, and it's very hot. I don't know. That really got me. I thought that was very funny.
Yeah. So this episode has Patton Oswalt as the guest star.
He was great.
He plays the fire marshal Boone.
Yeah.
Um, and that's one of my moments of thirst. So I'll get to that
Oh,
later. But
okay. I can't wait.
yeah.
So yeah, I thought Patton was really funny. So the whole premise is there's like the pizzeria is burned down. They're trying to figure out who did it, but the police department and the firefighters have big beef.
Which I found hilarious.
Yes.
That like they have a beef.
Like they can't stand each other.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the firefighters were like kind of meatheads.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like the cops were dorks a bit.
Yeah.
And the firefighters were meatheads. Anyway, I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Did you think? I know I hadn't remembered this episode at all. So did you think that Sal burnt down the pizzeria himself?
Well, when Boone kept saying he did, I was like, well, it makes sense. I mean, that usually is what happens. So I was like, sure, why not?
I thought it from the beginning. I mean, I'm actually glad they didn't go that way.
Yeah.
Because it would have been very expected. And I guess the point wasn't to prove Jake wrong, which is like, I think a lot of episodes are about like Jake has an idea and he relentlessly pursues it and he's wrong. Right. And this time it was more like Jake and somebody he doesn't get along with bond over something really sad and they learn to work together. And that became what the story was about. And I actually really liked that. Actually, that was a change. So I really liked that a lot. I also this episode of the 4 that we watched, I think this one and the last one, episode 12, I think had the best jokes, to be honest. Because the whole bit with like Boyle's like chewing up the pizza and spitting it into the bucket and having the blog and the whole rating it by mouthfeel. That was all
the 8th best pizza place.
Yeah, that was really good.
Why I started to believe that.
Yeah,
I started to be like, wait, why is Jake so insistent that it's the best?
Well, and we find out it has nothing to do with the way the pizza tastes, although apparently the sauce is very good. It actually had something to do with it was more of an emotional attachment. Because
his dad would take him there.
Yes.
After games or something, is that right?
Yeah. So the whole thing is him and the fire guy are fighting. Him and Patton Oswalt are fighting the whole time, and the fire marshal doesn't want him to have access to the case. And Sal wants Jake to help him solve the case because the fire marshal thinks that Sal burnt down his own pizzeria, and so basically he convinces Boyles to help him sneak in, and that they get in trouble, and then he sort of reveals that. The reason that Sal's is important to him is because after games, was it baseball games or something? Baseball, of course. Baseball games, his dad would take him to the game, him and the whole team to the game afterwards, right? To Sal's. But then his dad left.
And didn't take him to Sal's anymore.
And so now he couldn't go to Sal's with the rest of the team after that, which is really fucking sad.
Yeah.
Because that in the writer's room, that's somebody's story. Like, that's somebody's actual story. That's how writer's rooms work. Like, and so again, we have this, like, and we've seen this in a lot of Andy's work, is that, again, we have, and we knew this was coming, the bad dad, or the dad that wasn't there for you, or, the bad dad character, which we'll later actually meet Jake's dad eventually. But here's sort of the beginning of introducing the concept that, like, Jake, has a complicated relationship with his family. They'll talk about it a little bit more in the Thanksgiving episode, and how his, this is the first time we're hearing that his dad like left, I think, right? This is the first mention really of his dad. But that I liked how that played out. That Boone, the fire marshal, played by Patton Oswalt, gets very emotional and is like, my dad left me too, and like, let's work on this together. And like, I thought that was a nice change.
Yeah, I mean, it was all very broad. Like, it was very
for sure,
unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it was not.
It was fun.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, it was serious for a sitcom.
Yeah.
To bring something like that in, I felt like it was believable, especially because Jake like kind of rejected the notion of being comforted.
Mhm.
Like everybody was hugging him and he's like, oh, this is the worst.
Yeah.
Which I totally understand because I get very weird when I get emotional and people try to, it's like when Sarah and I are watching a movie and I start crying. The first thing Sarah will try to look at me and I'll be like, don't look at me.
Yeah, I'll want to, like, reassure her, but I'll just be like, "You're not crying. I don't see
I don't
anything.
see
What are you
anything.
talking about?"
It's like I don't want anyone to see my emotions.
I can tell when you're crying because you sniff. You go,
because I'm trying to
yeah.
I'm trying to hold it in. So I totally understand where he's coming from. I don't. I mainly focused my attention on the Jake storyline, of course, in these episodes. But I did want to point out the storyline with Amy and Rosa. Where Amy gets really mad because Rosa got offered a job as captain in a different precinct. And
Mhm.
I just thought it was really funny that I felt like even though Jake and Amy are so different, quote in quotes, I feel like Jake would have reacted exactly the same way that
Mhm.
Amy did. Like if it
Yep.
had been Boyles who had been offered a police captain job somewhere, that he would have been just as immature, like bringing it up all day, like making
Yeah.
snarky comments, like like
Insisting to go there and talk
yes,
to them and
exactly. Like he would have done the same thing. So it's really interesting because he's like the goofball rule breaker and she's like the
mhm.
type A
But
straight
they're both
laced. But they're
competitive.
yes, they're both very competitive. So I just thought that was really interesting. I also like just generally like storylines about women competing are often about like women competing over a man, and it's so
Mhm.
boring and tired, and I hate it. And I'm not saying there's no place for that in a story, but it's just like I've seen it. It's like it's so blah blah.
Well, I liked the scene between them in the car at the end
Mhm.
after they leave the other precinct where they, like, have, like, this talk about, like, we're women in a job surrounded by men, like, we need to have each other's backs.
Yeah, I love that too. That was great.
Mhm.
Anything else to say about Sal's Pizza?
Um, I liked the storyline where Terry and Gina I I interview people to work there, and Gina, like, asks all these, like, bizarre questions and stuff, and Terry's just like, "I have no idea what she's doing," like and then they go talk to Holt, and Gina reveals, like, "This is why I asked this is why I said this, and this is why this person or that person doesn't belong here," and I thought
And
she's
I don't know about you, but I was like, okay, Gina has a plan,
yeah.
clearly.
Well,
You
Gina's
knew she
very
had some kind of
smart.
plan. Yes.
She's very smart in a position that doesn't use all of her skills,
Yes, that's
and so she
true.
has to, like, find ways to, like,
Yeah.
use her skills more.
Yeah. And I think Holt tries to give her things, like tries to push her in direction where she's given responsibilities because he sees how smart she is and
Mhm.
how much she has to offer. And I really love that about that
Yeah.
relationship. But yeah, it's like Terry is only looking at what's on the paper
Mhm.
and Gina's looking at how they're going to fit into the work, like the
Exactly.
culture of the work environment, which is really
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, that's important.
Okay, so shall we move on to Thanksgiving?
Episode 10, Thanksgiving, yes.
God, I got to tell you, I was really sad when they started eating dinner finally and all the food tasted so bad. It's like I get really upset. I get upset when you see holiday food and it tastes like shit. Like
Mhm.
have you ever been to a holiday gathering where like you're like I'm ready to cuz like I like a holiday where I can eat. Like
Mhm.
that's the real shit right there. It's like
Yeah.
I'm ready to eat.
Mhm.
And if I go and like the green beans are soggy and the mashed potatoes are flavorless, like have you ever been to a holiday meal where it's like you get there and it's just so disappointing?
I have been fortunate enough to never have that happen to me. Like, anytime I've gone to a holiday gathering, like, the food has always been really good, and if something doesn't look that good, I just don't eat that dish. Um
I've been to I don't want to name names. But I've been to there's one particular branch of the family tree that we're not very close to. That when you go eat there, it's like the food's going to be real bad. And it's a
Aw.
shame because you're like I this on the surface this should be like good stuff.
Mhm.
There's nothing more disappointing than being like I'm ready to overindulge
Yeah.
and I can't because all this food tastes like shit.
Aw.
So I just really felt bad for everybody at that
Yeah.
Thanksgiving dinner not being able to, because I know Jake's right. It's disgusting how much we eat on Thanksgiving, but you know what?
Is
I love a holiday
not.
based around food. It's good
I
to eat and
love
feel good, right? And feel
It's
good.
good. I
Yeah.
love like, my dad always cooks all day. He makes yeast rolls and mashed potatoes and stuffing and
Mm.
turkey and,
I bet your dad
uh
loves Thanksgiving because he
he
loves to cook.
loves it. He loves to cook, yes, and that's we always it's so funny. He, like, cooks all day, and then we eat for, like, 10 minutes, and then it's over. Like, we just, like, stuff our faces for, like, 10 minutes, and
But
then
then
it's like
the rest of the week you get the leftovers. So you're like
it's
eating like
true.
yams for breakfast, right?
Well, we all eat a lot, so, like, it's more like the next 2 days.
Hmm.
It's like it's all gone within 2 days, so it's
I mean,
like,
you've got a
"Oh my
full
gosh."
house of people. Um, all right. So Jake doesn't want anything to do with Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Amy wants to have. It seemed at first I was like, okay, so Amy wants to have like the perfect Thanksgiving, but really that's not the point. Amy wants to be noticed by Holt.
Yes.
So she wants to have a Thanksgiving where she has an opportunity to like connect with him in some way.
Mhm. It's all about Holt.
Which I thought was interesting because the I think the easy storyline is for Amy to be like real, I got everything's got to be perfect and the food's got to be perfect and the table's got, but that's not
Yeah.
what this is about. In
Yeah.
fact, Amy doesn't give a shit about the food, which is the funniest thing. It's like she put baking powder in the mashed potatoes because she ran out of salt.
I
What
love
the fuck
Tara's
are you
joke,
talking about?
"Oh, yeah, because 'cause they're both white powder, yeah. Can
That's
interchange them."
insane. Baking powder tastes nothing like salt. If you just
And nothing like
touch it,
cocaine.
yeah, it's true. Don't snort it, kids. You will not have a good time. So I've heard. So yeah, Amy wants everybody over for Thanksgiving. I guess everyone else has no plans, right?
Mhm.
And Jake doesn't want anything to do with it.
Mhm. He wants to leave as soon as he can. Like, I think Holt insists that he goes and then
Mm-hmm.
says, "Okay, you can leave if there's, like, a job." And
Mm-hmm.
so there's a job that comes through, and he's like, "Yes, I can leave." And Holt is like, "Ugh."
Yeah, so Jake is like itching to go on this, like trying to find out who stole money from the evidence locker, or the
Mhm.
evidence room. He won't dress up either. Like she wants him to dress nice, and he wears like a hoodie.
Yeah, what is this aversion to dress nicely? Because when Holt first got the job, he also kind of refused to dress nicely.
I have a feeling that we'll get. I don't remember, so I'm just guessing, but I have a feeling they're going to work this in the future
Mhm.
when we meet his parents.
Yeah.
I bet it has something to do with that.
Yeah. Or he could
Because
just have, like, a sensory thing, like, my brother just doesn't like the way some clothes feel, like, fancy clothes. He only likes the way the T-shirts feel.
right. Well, I think that Jake doesn't like to be told what to do for sure,
Mhm.
but I have a feeling that these writers are smart enough that they're going to spin something that has to do with like why he doesn't like to dress up. So yeah, there's somebody stole some evidence, some money. They got to go and check it out. Meanwhile, back at the dinner, Amy wants to give this big speech.
Oh my
Who
gosh, she
has to
wrote,
put
like,
it?
8 pages, and it's like, "Is it double space or single space?" She's like, "It's two sided," and he's like, "The Amy special," or something. I don't know, like,
Yeah,
it's just so
exactly.
funny.
There wasn't a lot of Jake and Amy flirting in these 4 episodes. Like it's like they put it in the last 4 and then they like forgot about it for a
I
while. So
forgot about it, yeah.
I was like,
No
what? There
flirting.
had to be some kind of they did not. There was none.
I didn't see it.
It wasn't. Yeah, no, they decided not to do it. Boyle's still crushing on Rosa though. They were still
And
pushing
Rosa's
that. And I
like,
was like,
"No."
and so am I. I'm with
Yeah,
Rosa. I'm like, I don't want it. I don't like it.
yeah.
Please do not. I don't want that relationship to happen. I don't like it. It just they don't have chemistry in that way.
I don't.
I'm not saying Boyle shouldn't have someone, and I'm not saying Rosa shouldn't have someone. I'm saying they don't have chemistry together. I don't
No.
like it.
Oh,
It's the
speaking of
sibling
Rosa,
chemistry.
the actress is in The Heights.
Oh, cool.
She's one of the, female friends of
Does she
one of the
sing?
characters. She sings. She has a small part. She has, like, a
Mhm.
bit part, but she does get to sing. She does have a solo at one point. Like, her character's very fun. Anyway, totally the opposite of the character she plays here.
Yeah. No, I've actually seen interviews with her, and she's like not like that character at all. Like
Yeah.
she's very bubbly and fun.
Yeah.
She's not. She doesn't have that. She's really playing somebody different from herself. It seems like.
Yeah.
Terry's wife is out of town for some reason, and so he doesn't apparently know how to feed himself. So he's hungry the entire episode, and every time they try to get food, he's thwarted, which is a nice bit. Oh, there were some just I just wrote down a couple of lines every now and then that I really liked. There's one time where like Amy walks up to Rosa and Gina, and she's like, "Hey guys, guess what?" And Gina's like, what did she say? She's like, are you on the cover this week of Hair Pulled Back magazine?"
Yes, I love that. Oh my gosh.
What a weird,
Yes.
specific, great joke.
But why is that bad? Why is hair pulled back bad? Like she
I
says
think
it
she
like it's
just
a
means
bad
that
thing.
Amy's like, Amy's really
Uptight.
uptight. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what. And also, Rosa and Gina their locks are always very
Yeah.
loose and flowy. We get another sad story. Okay, so Jake keeps saying he hates Thanksgiving. We don't have to wait too long to find out. He's got a couple of sad stories. One is that so what he really wants to do is stay home, watch football by himself, and eat uh uh Mayo Nuts. Do you remember what Mayo Nuts are?
I forget. What are Mayo Nuts? Are they nuts wrapped in mayo?
It's spoonfuls of mayo with peanuts on top.
No! I forgot
Look,
about
I
that.
would
Sorry.
try it. I would try it.
No,
I would
you
try
would
it.
not. I would not let you.
It sounds kind of good. It's crunchy. It's soft. I don't know. I like mayo.
I would substitute the mayo for like marshmallow fluff. Like try some peanuts and
So
marshmallow fluff.
you want something sweet rather than savory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. I'd still try a bite of Mayo Nuts, but it is a very sad dish to eat for Thanksgiving. Sounds like it's better than Amy's mashed potatoes, though. You don't look happy at all.
Sounds so bad.
So Jake, apparently his dad wasn't around, his mom always worked, and he spent Thanksgiving alone, which is so fucking sad.
Yeah.
Like that's unbelievably sad. And so he
Mhm.
doesn't want anything to do with Thanksgiving. And I get that. That makes sense. He's like, fuck this holiday. And I'm like, I hear you. Like, if I had terrible memories like that, I understand why you wouldn't want to be reminded every year, like, of this sad, traumatic thing that was part of your life. Like the sadness of being alone on that holiday when other people are being together. Like, that sucks. So then we have like Holt and Jake like on an adventure together, which I always enjoy. Eventually they do catch the guy who's like the brother of another guy. You get your classic big family fight, where everybody's having a big brawl.
Yeah.
And then the other folks decide to go to the bar, try to get some food, but then they get kicked out because Amy throws a glass against something at the bar and it shatters all the shelves. And so there's this moment where they wrap up the case. Everybody else is back at the precinct. And Holt's like, I'm going to go join everybody else. And Jake's like, I'm going to go home. And Holt says to him that it sucks when you have like these bad family memories, but as an adult, you get to make a new family and new memories if you choose to do that.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't have a new family yet.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he wants one.
Yeah, he hasn't really said anything like that.
In the next line, he said something about how. Oh wait, that was an old woman. That wasn't a.
Yeah, he wants to take her out on a date
okay.
at the mahjong table.
No.
I wonder if maybe she turned him down. Maybe that's how he ended up back at the precinct dressed in the suit. So I thought that was really sweet. I actually, for a long time in this episode, I thought Holt had like made up the entire. Like, I thought he had fabricated the whole chase just to get Jake on a thing alone. Like, I really was like, oh, Holt made this up so that they could get away and he could talk to him alone. That wasn't what happened, but that's what I thought.
No.
So, but I thought it was nice that Holt was really trying to be like, hey, Holt is the good dad. He's the good dad in Jake's life. And he's now like, hey, listen, you got a new family and you can choose to have a good Thanksgiving if you want to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think what was missing for me in this episode, and I understand this is a sitcom, I really do, but what was missing for me is that I wanted to see Jake make a choice to put on the suit and go down to the precinct, because that's what he does. He puts on the suit, he goes down to the precinct. They have, which is actually like an amazing takeout dinner, you know, where Charles is like ordered takeout from, and you know,
Yeah.
Charles with his food blog, I'm sure he's later in a couple episodes, we'll see that actually his taste in takeout is a little weird. But at least in this episode, I was thinking, wow, given that Charles is such a foodie, I bet this is like the cream of the crop of the takeout in this area, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, Jake does end up going to Thanksgiving and he puts on the suit.
Mhm.
But I don't know how you felt about that, but I was like, I really like I felt like the way him and Holt left it, he was like, just gonna go home, man. And it didn't really sink in. And I feel like I wanted to see him make that choice personally.
Yeah, I think it was a good choice.
For him to go back, for sure. But what I
Yeah.
mean is like we didn't see it happen.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Holt gave him advice. Jake was like, nah, bro. And then he presumably went back home and changed into a suit. But we didn't see him go
We didn't see
home,
him go back.
flick on the game, and go, you know what? I actually want to be with my friends. Like I just
You
needed
wanted to see
something.
that him
I
to go
wanted
home
to
and then
see him
think about it.
choose. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I know this is a sitcom and
Sitcom. It's fast paced. We don't
it's
have any of
fast
those slow
paced,
moments, those like thoughtful moments.
but
Yeah.
I wanted that. I wanted to see that happen,
This
you know?
isn't Girls, Nicole. This isn't a dramedy.
I know, but I feel like even sitcoms can have moments like that. There was something you could have made a joke in there too. There could have been a bit. You know, like maybe he gets
actually,
home and he tries to watch the football game, but it's no fun because he already knows the score because he went to the bookie's place and now he already knows the ending and it's like not going to be any fun. And or maybe he tries to eat the mayo nuts and it tastes gross. I don't know. You could have made a joke. I just wanted to see
have you,
him
now that I'm thinking about it, have you ever actually seen a scene with a person alone? Like, aren't they
on Brooklyn
always in a
Nine-Nine.
group on Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Yeah.
Good
I feel like they're always
question.
in a group. It's such an ensemble show that there are no like, let's look at this person's day with them by themselves. Like,
I mean, you're right. That's a good point. I will start thinking about that though and see if I do notice anything like that. But Jake is a central character. I don't know. I just was like, I wanted that. Like, I feel like it's missing. I did really like Jake's toast at the end though.
mhm.
Um, where he like gave everybody a role in the family. Like he's like, I've got two black dads, and I've got two Latino sisters, and I've got,
Yeah.
you know, whatever
Two
whatever
white
Hitchcock is,
sons
this
or two white brothers or something.
this weird sad baby.
Yeah.
Which was all very sweet.
Yeah.
So that was nice. Anything else to say about episode 10?
It was not as good as the episode, the Thanksgiving episode of Friends, for me.
Yeah, no. Also, I think there are better Thanksgiving episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but yeah, I would say of the 4 that I watched, and I did watch these at the pool.
Oh.
Well, you know, my kid's been home all week because my daughter has a cold, and in the age of COVID, she doesn't have COVID, she got a test.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't have COVID. She just had a regular old cold. But in the age of COVID, if anyone in your house, if any of the children in your house are have a cold or a cough or stuffy nose, like everyone stays home. So all the children have been home all week. None of them went to camp. They've been home all week. I know it's
Charlotte.
well, she was really bummed because she was supposed to go to rock climbing camp. That was what she was going to do this week. So they're all going tomorrow. So they got one day that they get to go because she's not.
Do you have to pay
anymore.
for all of that?
The rock climbing camp is going to refund us, but
Okay.
unfortunately, the other camp, I don't think they will. So we're just going to eat that money.
That sucks.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. It's in their policy. We knew what we were getting into. Anyway, so we took the kids to the pool because we couldn't stand to have them in our house anymore. And so I brought my iPad and I actually watched several episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine and took notes while at the pool. Before anybody gets upset with me, there are lifeguards at the pool and my husband was also there with me. So it's not like I just like tossed them into the pool and forgot about them. Anyway, of the 4 episodes, I felt like this one and actually episode 11 was like, which was the Christmas episode.
Yeah.
I also thought that one was kind of not terrible, just not great. It wasn't my favorite.
I didn't have a lot of notes on it. I was just kind of like,
well, let's see. This one is about Holt. Okay, actually, yeah, this episode was Basically, Holt was there's death threats on Holt's life, and so Jake
Mhm.
has to be his bodyguard or whatever, which was
Mhm.
kind of weird. The
Yeah.
whole the writing of this episode was a little strange because first of all, I was like, why would Holt pick Jake? And also, and
Mhm.
then later Holt's like, I picked you because I wanted you to be a rule breaker, and it's like, well, okay. I did like the bit where Jake handcuffs himself to Holt so that Holt can't like get
Yeah.
away because he's at the
Yeah.
safe house.
Yeah.
Also, for a second there, I thought we were actually going to see Jake's mom's house because he's like, "I'm going to take you to my mom's house," but really, it's a safe house.
I
Um.
loved the flashbacks of Holt when he caught the swimming
Oh gosh, the
kid and was
freestyle
like,
killer,
the
I think
freestyle
was
killer,
what he was
oh my
called.
gosh. I
Yeah, the
love
freestyle
those,
killer.
like, those flashbacks of him, like, talking to this killer, like, and being, like, you know,
Oh yeah, where he was like a
a
real
dick,
snarky detective guy. Yeah,
snarky,
I love
yeah.
anytime we go back to 1980s Holt. I'm always really thrilled about it.
Perfect, yes.
But yeah, so Jake has to keep Holt in hiding so that he doesn't get assassinated, I guess,
Yeah.
by this like guy, this swimming guy, that Holt put away at one point.
How did the
Um,
freestyle killer kill again?
they didn't say,
Was he didn't,
which
like,
I think was,
freestyle into your face?
I think there was a missed opportunity for a joke there.
Yes.
Just like the disco killer that we saw a
Yes.
couple,
How did
I
he
feel like
kill?
that the disco killer, he had like, didn't he like strangle somebody with like a disco ball?
Mhm.
Anyway, um, so I liked Holt and Jake getting handcuffed together. I liked even more when Boyles came in and Boyles, they're trying to, each one of them is like trying to get, so Jake's like, you got to help me, Boyles, because Holt is trying to, get back to the precinct and solve this murder on this case on his own. And Holt's like, no, Boyles, you got to let me free. I got to find out who's putting out a threat on my life. And Boyles can't decide who to help, so he handcuffs himself to them. That was great. That was great. I actually
Yeah.
thought they could have gotten way more mileage out of that joke. Like, I think what would have made this episode more interesting is if the three of them had been locked together longer and
Mm.
had to navigate dealing with each other while handcuffed together. That was a
Mhm.
really great bit that they only used for a short time. And
Mm.
I think they could have gotten a lot more mileage out of that joke.
Yeah.
Um, Terry is going through a psyche eval, trying to decide if he can be back on the
Oh,
force.
yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, and she gives him, like, word associations, and it always leans back to gun death or to gun
Yes.
kill or, like, something like
Yeah,
that.
he should definitely not be on the streets still.
Yeah.
I did think the ending was good. They all tracked down the freestyle killer who's been released and
Yeah.
is now trying to threaten Holt's life. And then Boyles jumps in front of a bullet to
In
save
front of
Rosa.
Rosa, yeah.
Yeah. And so now Rosa's gone a little soft for him. He gets shot in the butt.
Mhm.
Which then becomes a big part of the next episode, which I think they used very well. But yeah, just Cholo Trio just like ass up in a bed, like
Yeah.
very good comedy. Like him
Yes.
just his butt just kind of slightly stuck up in the air.
Yeah.
And you could just see the cheeks of his ass a little bit. Very funny. That was a good joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about this episode?
I liked that Holt, like I mean, I didn't like this, but I guess I thought it was endearing that he did feel that there was a threat, but then he told Jake, he like led Jake to believe that there was a threat, and then he led him to believe that there was not a threat, and he was just trying to get him to what was his excuse?
This was all very muddy, I think, which is my problem
Yeah.
with this episode. Like, it didn't super further the relationships between them very much. I think what was supposed to happen is that we were supposed to see Holt behaving in a way where he was kind of breaking the rules the way Jake would, but
That's
it didn't
true.
really play for me that way.
Yeah.
What Holt said was, I don't want anyone else getting involved because this is my fault. He felt guilty because when he was a young police officer, or young detective, he was taunting this guy, and so this guy had wanted revenge on him. So he was basically like, I hope you think every day about how I'm going to be swimming and you're going to be stuck in a tiny room.
Yeah.
And so him taunting this guy is what led to him wanting revenge, I guess. And so he didn't want anybody else to get hurt. That was the whole thing. I don't know. Didn't really work for me. Super great.
Yeah.
But also, Boyles does get hurt. He does get shot because of this. But, you know, it's like part of the job, I guess. You know, you might get shot in the butt. Shall we move on to episode 12?
Pontiac Bandit.
My favorite of the 4 episodes. This is my absolute favorite. One of my favorites.
Only episode from Brooklyn Nine-Nine from the season that I remember.
Oh, yeah?
Like, because because the twist at the end was so good.
Oh, yes. And Craig Robinson. So good.
Great character actor.
So Doug, my first note is Doug motherfucking Judy.
Yes.
I love him. I love when this character appears in the show. Anytime I see Doug Judy, I'm like, fuck yes. Also, him and Jake's relationship is so great. Like, it's funny, and the actors have, like, Andy and Craig Robinson have such great chemistry as actors, but also just the fact that Jake is, like, a police officer who can't help but want to be friends. Like, Doug Judy is so charismatic and, like, fun to be around, that he wants, like, they kind of end up being friends, even though they shouldn't be.
They have, like, man crushes on each other or something.
Also, like, the way he's, like, flirting with Rosa the whole time, it wasn't creepy. I actually thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
And she seems like she's kind of into it. So
yeah.
But yeah. So the idea is, I mean, this episode had everything. You had the Pontiac Bandit. You had the puppies.
I know.
I was like, Sarah's gonna love this.
You've hurt all 3 of us, or you've made all 3 of us sad, or something like that.
Oh my god, I love that scene. So Holt, I know Holt has these puppies, and he's holding that poor Andre Braugher's like holding puppies the entire episode.
He's probably peed all over.
And his everywhere. Arms. I'm sure his arms are tired. Yeah. He's holding puppies the entire episode, the whole episode. But they're so cute, and they were
I would not mind. I would be like, give me the
they can pee on me. I don't care. Please pee on me. I don't care. They're so cute. Anyway, so you've got Doug Judy. You got the puppies, but yeah, Holt is trying to foster these puppies, I guess, and he tries to hand them off to Terry, and Terry's basically like, I got kids. It's a madhouse at my house. I can't put these puppies through that. Yeah. And Holt's like, you've made us all very disappointed.
All 3 of us.
Oh, so cute.
It's so cute.
So there's a lot going on. So you've got the puppies, but also like Boyles is back, but he shouldn't be. He's like, he's half in a cast. He's got like a half body cast on. He's on this like standing wheelchair thing that he can't really get the hang of, and he needs a lot of help.
Yeah,
like he needs people to reach into his cast and retrieve things that he drops down there. He can't pick up the coffee cups.
Hot coffee down his cast, and who pours milk down his cast?
Oh, that's Gina. Yeah, so he's trying to get coffee, but he pours hot coffee all over himself, and then Gina pours milk down his cast to soothe the burn, I guess, and also because milk and coffee go together.
Yes,
that was a good joke.
That was good.
But yeah, I also think this is why this episode's so great. So you got a great guest star, right? Mm-hmm. But also you get a lot of Jake and Rosa's relationship, which we haven't really seen a lot. We've seen a lot of Jake and Boyles. We've seen a lot of Jake and Amy. Jake and Holt. We haven't seen hardly any Jake and Rosa. And apparently they went to the academy together, and they have this whole thing where if like one of them has a hunch or something and they really want to, they're like, you got to trust me on this. They promise they'll do 1,000 push-ups if they don't. If they're wrong. And so that was really a great little piece. Also, like, so the whole thing with Doug, why is this scheme so elaborate? So he's been picked up by Rosa for identity theft, which should be, Jake is so stupid in this episode. Like, that should be his first clue. This is Jake's problem. He's got such tunnel vision.
He does. He likes Doug so much that he is,
but also he wants to catch the Pontiac Bandit, who he thinks is not Doug. He doesn't doesn't consider Doug a possible suspect.
Yeah. Why though?
Because Doug told everyone to tell the cops that the Pontiac Bandit is an Asian guy with spiky hair and a British accent.
That's true.
When he said all that stuff, I was like, that sounds absurd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so many details, and it's not because I don't think an Asian person can have a British accent. It's because it was so detailed.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, Asian guy, nice suit, spiky hair, British accent. I was like, that is so many details. That is so fake. But like, then they have the character who is all those things, who's a hairdresser, poor guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Doug's been picked up for identity theft, which I feel like should be Jake's first clue. Rosa, I feel like, is onto his bullshit real quick. But he makes them take him to his mother's house to get his phone, and then meet in an alley with a guy, and then let him go alone to like, and he basically escapes. Like, they put a wire on him, and he's supposed to meet with the Pontiac Bandit, but really the Pontiac Bandit is his hairdresser. Mm-hmm. And Doug is the real Pontiac Bandit. And multiple times Rosa's like, this is super fishy, and Jake's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because he's just like, he's so focused on, I've got to catch this guy. And he's very, I think also, like you said, I think charmed by Doug and, you know, his laser discs.
Yeah.
So that was, but why is it so elaborate? Is it because it's a sitcom, or do you think Doug was enjoying?
It's both.
I think Doug was enjoying setting the trap as well.
He was.
Like, he made it elaborate for a reason.
Yeah.
Because he enjoyed being with the cops and them not knowing that he's actually the Pontiac Bandit.
That's part of his thing, is he likes that, probably.
Yeah, and I guess maybe his thinking was, I'm trying to rationalize this, and I know it's a sitcom, so it doesn't really require that much thought, but I feel like maybe he was like, well, I'm going to get pinched for this identity theft, and they're going to find out that I'm the Pontiac Bandit anyway, so I might as well unveil myself in the most dramatic way possible and have a little fun. That's how I kind of saw it.
Yeah. And do you think that when they wrote the episode and had Craig come in, do you think they knew they were going to have him be a recurring guest star role? Or did he just do such a good job with it that they were like, we have to have this guy back?
I'm going to guess that they didn't. I think just like Patent, they probably were like, if we want to bring this character back, we like, it'll be great to have him come back because we've got Craig Robinson, who's a great actor, and we've got Patton Oswalt, who's a great actor. So like, I think it may have been in the back of their heads, but I don't think they probably planned a storyline for him or anything. So I'm sure they were just like, we're gonna write this one off, and then at some point down the road, they were probably like, ooh, let's do another Pontiac Bandit. Like, somebody has another idea for that. I think is probably how that went down. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
I loved the scene where Jake walks out of the house in the white suit. That was amazing. Hilarious.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Everybody starts hiding from Boyles because his need for it was sad, actually. He's like, I know they're hiding from me. And he's like, I was just lonely and I couldn't sit at my house anymore. But like, don't you have Netflix? Like, surely he could have watched like
lonely with Netflix.
I know, but he could have watched like Anthony Bourdain or something, right? I mean, he's a foodie. No, you don't like Anthony Bourdain? You made a face.
I don't like to watch food shows.
Oh, what's that about?
I don't know. Well, I think it's years of being afraid of food.
Fair.
Don't want to think about food any more than I have to.
Speaking of food, when everybody feels really bad about abandoning Boyles, sorry, I keep calling him Boyles. Every time, once they actually apologize, they let him pick the food for that day. Oh, no. That was not the apology. That was something they did because he had come back. Okay. You know how I feel about people eating on screen.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where he's eating the hoof was revolting. I had to look away.
What did he say? I was like, he said something about what was the line?
He's like, "This is the best part of the stew," and you suck out the. I don't know what he said because I had to turn away. I don't know.
Oh my god! What? It was something so gross that it was just like.
It was the slur. It's like the slurping. Like, props to the actor. He did a great job. He really committed. But I was like, I can't. I'm not going to survive. Like, I will not survive this scene. I have to look away.
Yeah, I wish I could remember the line.
But he was like slurping it.
Yeah.
Was it a real hoof? I don't know. It looked real. It had like a leg attached to it. It had like cartilage. It was revolting.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the end, the Pontiac Bandit gets away.
Mm-hmm.
We see that Jake and Rose's friendship is tested because Jake, steamrolls over here just like he does everybody else.
Yep.
And I also really like the part where Rosa tries to flirt with him to get with Doug to try to get him to turn around and come back.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I know you're teasing me, but this is just proof of how hot I think you are, or something like
yeah,
that.
he's like, I know. Yeah, basically, he's like, I am considering it, even though I
Yeah.
know that you're just trying to catch me.
Yeah.
And then she makes him do 1,000 push-ups
Mm-hmm.
as punishment.
Yeah.
And the Pontiac Bandit lives to steal another car. Which we
Good
will
episode.
see him again soon. So, any other thoughts about episode 12?
No, I mean, I just can't wait to see Craig.
Yep.
Robinson come back and play that role again.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing him back. And see that his relationship develop with Jake, because their relationship does develop over time, as I recall. And now Rosa's also on the case. So next time we have the Pontiac Bandit, Rosa will be back to be involved. And I just really liked all the scenes with Rosa and Jake. I just really thought that relationship was great. They really, because Jake has this like sort of open, innocent, but also like kind of frantic energy, and Rosa, the character, is very kind of still and deadpan, and so them together, and Jake's like exuberance and his hubris mixed with Rosa's like really level-headedness, like all of that really worked really well together. I also think that's the same reason that Amy and Rosa scenes work really well together. Again, like I think I noticed in these 4 episodes a lot how similar Jake and Amy really are. Even if the characterization is a little different but like a lot of their, I guess, flaws, their character flaws are very similar.
Yeah.
Which is maybe why they don't get along so good sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts. Any final thoughts? Oh, we didn't even talk about there weren't that many cutaways this time, but I did write down a few of my favorites.
Okay. Tell me.
There were no sex tapes this time.
Nope.
So my 2 favorite cutaways of the cutaways were, was from episode 12, was Terry having to hold Boyles up so he can pee in the urinal. Where he's like, there's a hole for my penis. But my favorite, hands down, had to be the cutaway to Amy's magic themed singles night. Do you remember that?
No.
It was at the very beginning when they're talking about the search history. And Amy's search history was that she was looking for a magic themed singles night, and they were like, what's that all about? And she's like, well, I go on a lot of dates.
With the guy who
disappeared his
underwear, and she's like, no.
Yeah, he does a couple magic trips and then he disappears all of his clothes, and she's like, oh no.
That's what this is. No, thank you.
So that was definitely those were my favorite cutaways. I think the best cutaway of all 4 episodes was definitely Amy at the magic for singles.
I think the best was Holton, the freestyle
okay,
killer.
Fair. Yeah, that's a good one too. That was a good one. Shall we do our moments of thirst? Who should go first?
I have 3.
Okay.
How many do you have?
I have 3. I could possibly 4. I have 3. I have 3.5.
3.5. Okay, can I go?
Yes, please.
So, Jake looking at Patton Oswalt as he's crying with sympathy.
Aww,
like when Patton Oswalt first starts to cry and he like wants to like give Jake a hug, and Jake's just like, he just kind of looks at him like he feels for him, but also doesn't want to hug him or talk about it or
yeah. The emotional vulnerability. You like it.
Yes. So 2, untucked shirts. Just noticed there were lots of times he's wearing untucked shirts. Even though with a tie, but like his shirts were untucked, and I'm just like, yeah, that's how I like shirts.
Keep that shirt free.
Yeah.
Keep that belly free.
Yes. 3, the Boys to Men Easter outfit. Boys to Men Easter outfit.
You know, I almost wrote that down, but I was like, this is absurd, right? Why am I
Yeah.
attracted to him in this fucking weird white suit? It's something.
It was the way he
confidence.
walked. It was the way he moved.
The attitude. It wasn't the suit, because the suit was
Yeah.
very ill-fitting. But
Yes.
his confidence and
Yes.
his like body, the way that he moved in it was hot.
Yes. Yes.
I agree.
And you could tell Craig was just not, what is his name? The
Doug.
bandit Doug was just like, all right. Like, just kind of like, what is happening here?
Wow. I'm so glad we were on the same wavelength about that, because I literally started writing it down, but I was like, I've gone too far. I've gone too far. That was great. Those were great moments of thirst. Okay. I don't know. I was in some kind of mood today, Sarah. So I'm just going to preface my moments of thirst by saying that. Number 1, is for me is like in the first episode. Oh, Jake, when he gets angry, he got angry with the fire marshal. He got mad, and I was like, ooh, I like him mad. Like I just like I was like, yes. Same episode when he's breaking into the pizza place. There's something about his like, it was again, it was like the way he was. I don't know why, but I found it like really hot the way he just like shoved that knife in there and just like broke open.
Like anger. What is?
I don't know what.
Happening?
I'm in some kind of mood today.
Okay.
I have some needs that apparently need to be fulfilled. So, and then my 3.5, my half is that I always love Andy in a suit, but I thought the suit was a little weird. Like I was like, there's something weird about the suit. Like it's like,
which suit?
The suit he was wearing at Thanksgiving.
Mm.
I was like, I like the suit, but it's like there's something about it that I was like, it's not like this isn't the best suit I've seen on him. The costume department didn't do him dirty, but I think they could have done better with that suit. And maybe that's because the idea was that Jake doesn't like suits, so he doesn't really have any good suits laying around. Maybe that was the plan. Yeah. Anyway, but I always like Andy in a suit, so I had to write it down. And then lastly, the push-ups. And as it got worse, like the longer it went on, I was like, yes, I see the sweat forming. I see the arm straining, and I like it. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening inside of me right now, but those
you need angry sex.
I do.
As you would imagine, I'm normally up for pretty much anything in the bedroom, but I can't tell if what happened was weird or sexy.
I'm ready for some Adam and Andy trivia.
So this is some Andy trivia that was brought to my attention by my boyfriend.
Ooh,
yes, it's not that he's like looking for stuff, but if he comes across stuff, he's just like, "Hey, this could stump Nicole."
Yes, please stump me. I want to be stumped.
This is an 8-part multiple choice.
Oh my god, 8-part multiple choice.
A B C D E F G H. Okay.
Oh, it's like taking the Avid certification exam. I might have to write this down.
Okay. Who created Andy Samberg's Facebook account?
Oh, fuck. Okay. Hit me.
A. Yorma Tacone.
Okay.
B. Barack Obama. C. Akiva Schaffer. D. Mark Zuckerberg.
No, really?
E. Joanna Newsom. F. Jimmy Fallon. G. Natalie Portman. H. Kristen Wiig.
Oh my god. First I thought this was really going to be easy, but then, well, let's see. I could see Kristen Wiig doing that just as a joke. I could also see his wife doing it because maybe she's like, hey, the family, we all have a Facebook account, and so you've got to have one. Akiva, sure, I could see him doing that. Barack Obama seems unlikely, but so unlikely that I have to give it a second look. I feel like if Mark Zuckerberg was creating a Facebook account for Andy Samberg, it would purely just be to elevate Mark Zuckerberg, which sounds like something he would do. Have I missed anybody else? I know Yorma was on there. Natalie Portman. I could see her doing that, to get revenge on Andy for some joke he wrote that she had to endure while she was on SNL.
And I think he was Akiva.
No, I said to keep
You
it.
said Akiva?
Yeah.
And Yorma?
I'm going to go with my original instinct, which is Yorma.
Okay.
That's my
You're
instinct.
Wrong. What is your next choice? You're wrong.
I have to choose again?
I'm going to make you choose until
shit.
you get it.
Then I'm going to go with Kristen Wiig.
Nope.
Jimmy Fallon.
Nope.
Fuck. If it's Barack Obama, I'm going to shit myself. There's no way it's Barack Obama. His wife?
Nope.
Akiva.
Nope.
There's no way it's Barack Obama.
Nope.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes.
Mark Zuckerberg? Ew.
Yes.
That's so creepy.
There's actually a bit on Jimmy Fallon where Andy tells the story of how Mark Zuckerberg created his Facebook account, because apparently so Mark was on an episode of SNL, and so they had known each other through that, and then they ran into each other at some event or something, and Andy just casually was just like, oh, I think Mark said something about doing something on Facebook, and Andy was like, oh yeah, I don't have an account, and Mark was like really kind of like, why don't you have an account? Like, you should just have an account. And so he created him an account, and Andy was like, okay, but like, I don't want your friends to friend me. I want you to be my only friend, just like you, and like no one else. Like, don't send me other friend requests or anything. And so he created it, and then like the next day or the next few days, Andy all of a sudden got a lot of friend requests, and so he called Mark and was like, hey, I need you to do tech support. Like, how do I stop these notifications? And so Mark had to be like, go to settings and click this, and then
okay, number one, fuck Mark Zuckerberg. That is the absolute, but I was right about why he would do it. That is the absolute most narcissistic bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Secondly, Andy, as a grown man in your 40s, I mean, I know he was probably not in his 40s, but maybe in his 30s when this happened. How hard is it to look at your privacy settings, or not your privacy settings, but your notifications, and just fucking turn that off on your own phone? The fuck?
Some people are not good at the tech stuff. Some people don't find it.
I mean, a quick Google will tell you. You know,
some people aren't intuitive enough to even check Google. Like, I definitely know some people who just ask into the void, or like ask someone they know. They won't even do a search.
Mark Zuckerberg is creepy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good piece of trivia. You got me.
Yeah,
and I'm appalled.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
sorry that I appalled you.
I'm not appalled by you. I'm appalled by Mark Zuckerberg thinking that everyone has to have a Facebook account. Jesus Christ. Leave the man alone. Andy doesn't want a Facebook account. He doesn't want it. I hope he deactivated it eventually, because
I don't know. I didn't check.
Well, I'm sure if I'll be honest with you, if I were actually a celebrity, like a real celebrity who people would want to, who people gave a shit what I said, I would have a public social media with my name on it, simply for communicating shit about something I'm working on. Mm-hmm. And I would have like several burner accounts that are just like me, but you don't know it's me, so that I can actually navigate social media as a person, an entity that is not, that people don't have their eyes on me all the time. Mm-hmm. So I would not try to interact with the public at large as myself. I would have a secret identity. I feel like I don't know how else you could enjoy social media. Like Adam Driver, who has no interest, I'm sure, in being on social media, would never be able to enjoy social media as Adam Driver on Twitter.
No.
It would be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Andy Samberg, of course he doesn't want all those people on Facebook friending him. Ew.
I think that if I were famous, I would probably not do social media, or I would just have like a select group of people who I really trusted.
So you'd be on my private
account. I'd probably defriend everyone I don't personally know closely, just because I'm friends with a lot of people who like I don't see them, I haven't seen them or heard from them in years, and who knows what I post that they might see that I have no idea where it goes or like who's on their accounts or I don't know. So I would probably just and I actually have the guy I went to prom my senior year with, he did that when he got kind of famous. He like unfriended everyone who he wasn't close with. Which included me.
Oh, well. Yeah, well, it's okay.
But I totally get that
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, yeah, I would have my public account would become pretty curated.
Yeah.
Or I'd hire somebody to curate it for me, and
you
then
wouldn't post things about being like insecure about your art, or you wouldn't post about your kids, or you wouldn't
I would do that on my burner account. I would traipse around the internet making all the comments, retweeting all the things, being myself under anonymity. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
And I suspect that's what a lot of celebrities do, and I can't blame them. You should be able to enjoy the digital space without being bombarded constantly. Like you don't owe people anything outside of the work that you're giving them. I chose to be in this movie because I wanted to be in this movie. This is what I'm giving you. Right? I'm giving you this movie. I'm giving you this character. They don't owe us anything else.
Yeah. This is my off hours. I'm
not you can have a life.
Character.
And I know that sounds absurd coming from a podcast where where the whole shtick is that we're obsessing over these actors, but I don't feel entitled to them or their personal lives in any way.
Yeah.
Oh, you look awesome. Come the fuck upstairs.
Okay.
But wait, I have to warn you about something.
What?
If you come up here, I'm going to tie you to my bed and keep you for at least 3 days. I'm just in that kind of mood.
Are you ready to spin the wheel of Adam to find out what we're watching next? Let's do that. Okay, so I've got the wheel up. Can you see it? All right, so I put some new films on there. So this week on the wheel, we have Patterson, Frances Ha, Hungry Hearts, and The Report.
Okay.
Have you seen any of these?
Nope.
Okay.
None of them.
Let's spin that wheel. And I knew this was going to happen. It's going to be The Report.
What is that?
Here, let me read it to you. This is the only Adam Driver film that I have started and didn't finish.
Ooh.
It's not a bad film. I'll explain why in a minute. I don't want you to think this is like I didn't finish it because it was bad. I'll explain why I didn't finish it in a moment. Idealistic Senate staffer Daniel J. Jones, tasked by his boss to lead an investigation into the CIA's post 9/11 detention and interrogation program, uncovers shocking secrets.
Oh no. Is this like Guantanamo Bay?
Yes. So the reason I didn't finish it was because I was like...
upsetting content.
Yeah. I was watching it and I was like, okay, Adam's great. And this is too much torture for a Sunday evening. This is too much torture for a Sunday night. I just can't do this. But I will watch it but I know that this character is a beloved character in the Adam Driver catalog. Lots of fans who are big fans of Dan Jones.
Is he a hero character or is he a villain character?
He's a hero character. He's the guy who's uncovering the conspiracy. That's his role in this movie. He's actually he's the lead character in this movie, and he is trying to uncover a government conspiracy. That's what
I watched a doc about Guantanamo Bay like years and years ago, and it really upset me. Like really bad.
Yeah. So
but luckily this isn't a doc. I mean, it's still based on true events.
I don't think it's going to probably be like that, but I mean, it isn't about a happy thing, but I also don't want to not watch this movie just because it's about something that is a bummer, I am committed to watching all of his movies, and the performance was good, and I may just not have been in the mood for that type of movie that night either. So I don't want to, like, I think you might really enjoy this movie, not the torture stuff, but like it is, it is an interesting movie, and I think his wife has a small, like a cameo role in this movie as well, Joanne. Anyway, we'll watch The Report. That's what we're going to be watching next. Before we go, I did want to, of course, I wanted to say that you can always reach out to us and tell us what you thought of this episode. Were there's things that we missed about Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the episodes that we watched. What are your tips if you're performing conolingus and singing at the same time? What are your tips? Tweet at us at Adam Andy Pod. That's where you can find us on Twitter, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Adam and Andy Podcast. I also wanted to, I don't know, just plug a little thing that Sarah and I are working on together right now, called Mr. Pleasure. It is a film that I have written, that Sarah and I are directing and starring in, and it is about a group of lady scientists who are building sex robots, and one of them falls in love with her robot. And so it's a sci-fi comedy,
romance.
And I'm really proud of it. And we've been working on it for a while. Sarah and I have been working on the script together. We just had a virtual reading of the script.
It went really well.
Yeah, it went really well. I've been doing some rewrites, and we've got a lot of fun things planned as we continue to develop this film. So if you're interested in staying up to date with what we're doing, we also recorded this really cool roundtable discussion about sex and intimacy, and with the other one of the other actors and a producer on the film, Ava Davis. And those will be coming out on all the social media for Mr. Pleasure very soon. So check us out at Mr. Pleasure Film on Facebook and Instagram. And I think the Facebook page is at MP Film, because
pleasure is
Zuckerberg won't let you use the word pleasure in a handle for a Facebook page. I literally got a message from Facebook saying, we can't use the word pleasure. Now, did I tell you the rest of what they said, Sarah? The note that I got, it was, not only can you not use pleasure, but you can't advertise products for sexual, and if it's a product that has to do with sex, it has to be educational, or it has to be health, like a health related thing, like a sexual health. It can't be about something that people enjoy. It can't be about enjoying sex. Not so. That's weird to me. Of all the things I see on Facebook that I'm bombarded with daily, and I can't use the word pleasure in my Facebook page. Anyways, if that sort of thing outrages you, might enjoy our roundtable. We talk about a lot of interesting stuff, and I'm working on editing those episodes, and those will be coming out. So there's going to be a lot of fun things in addition to, if you want to follow along with how things are going with our movie, and that sounds like a film and type of subject matter that would be interested if you like sci-fi, if you like sex and sci-fi, and funny things, you might enjoy us in this movie. So check it out, Mr. Pleasure Film. All right, Sarah, I'm out of tea. Oh. Don't tell Grandma.
I won't.
But I'm out of tea. So I guess we're gonna call it a night. Come back and join us next time when we'll be talking about Adam Driver in The Report.
And Grandma.
Grandma.